You want a podcast? Welcome to Flute 360, the podcast that reminds you everything is connected. I'm Dr. Heidi K. Begay, flutist, educator, creative entrepreneur, and follower of Christ. Here, we explore the full circle, the 360 of your life as a musician, because who you are as a person shapes who you are as an artist, and the lessons you learn outside the practice room are just as vital as the hours with your flute in hand. From health and spiritual growth to artistry and career fulfillment, this space is where it all intersects. Come as you are. There's a seat for you at the Flute 360 table. Today's episode is episode 352, and it's titled, Stop Shrinking: How to Take Up Healthy Artistic Space as a Musician. Hey there, Flute 360 friend. I hope that you had such a fantastic, relaxed, and energizing Thanksgiving holiday if you are here in the States. I know that I had a great time with family. I didn't even have to cook, y'all. It was fantastic. All I had to do was bring my mean date dessert recipe, and that was it. So major kudos to my mom, niece, and my sister for making my past Thanksgiving easy breezy for me. Moving into today's episode, I want to talk to the flutist that may feel a little broken right now. This episode is for the flutist who feels like perhaps you're over-apologizing, playing it too safe, or shrinking inside your own artistry. The reason why I want to bring this conversation up and this topic up is because I'm hearing this a lot in my flute lessons with my students, coaching client calls, or the accelerator program. So maybe you resonate with this as well. Maybe you're not taking up the space you know deep down you were created to fill. And I hear this all the time with 360ers, even in the private setting or the community setting. And honestly, it really breaks my heart. Now, if you are an avid Flute 360 podcast listener, you know that you've heard me say this sentiment a million times, and that is you are a unique snowflake. God, Jesus, created you with a one-of-a-kind imprint. There has never been and will never be another person who sounds, thinks, feels, or expresses like you. So when I see my 360ers minimizing themselves, it hurts because I want you to take up really healthy, grounded, artistic space. And tell me if this resonates with you. Now, I hear this from everyone inside the 360 world, from my middle schoolers and high schoolers, all the way through adults with graduate degrees, even grandparents studying flute for the joy of it. Especially with my little ones, I often see this pattern show up around band directors or orchestral directors. Sometimes the relationship is supportive, but other times it's, a little complicated. And especially when a young flutist feels they can't take up space, maybe in sectionals or rehearsal, they start shrinking during chair tests, auditions, pass-offs, and performances. I literally see them retreat. But the thing of it is it's not just the little ones. Whether you're in college, pre-college, graduate school, maybe a DMA program, or navigating auditions as a professional or an adult hobbyist, this pattern of shrinking can follow you everywhere. And if you're a teacher, you've probably seen it show up in your flute studio too. So this message really is for all of us. What I often tell my younger students is this: it's good to respect your mentors. Of course, you want to respect your elders, mentors, teachers alike. But if someone, even a teacher, uses unhealthy language or creates an unsafe environment, you are most certainly allowed to advocate for yourself. You're allowed to speak up kindly, professionally, and firmly. I think so many musicians don't even realize they can do that. No one ever hands them that permission slip. And honestly, I so wish that 40-year-old Heidi, current day Heidi, could go back and hand that permission slip to 20-year-old Heidi. Now, I won't get into all the details here in this public space, but if you ever want to ask me privately, I'm an open book. I've had a few toxic professors throughout my collegiate years, and I tolerated their toxicity because I thought they were the gatekeepers. Come to find out, they're not. No one is worth enduring emotional or physical abuse for. You are allowed to protect your well-being. But here's the bigger question underneath all of this. Where are you shrinking and why? Is it an environment, a relationship, a certain peer, or a situation where you feel small or unsafe? I encourage you, when you're ready, when you are emotionally, mentally ready for this, go back through your history and your present time and notice where negative comments or past wounds may have trained you to retreat. Now, when I say take up healthy space, I mean standing in your worth and identity so that when you play, teach, or write, you show up with presence instead of apology. Because your audience, your students, or your colleagues, they want that from you. They want to hear your artistry. They want you to show up in your most authentic way. A big theme I hear from my 360ers is this: inside, deep inside of me, I know what I'm capable of. I've done the heavy lifting. I've practiced. I know the music inside and out. But the outside version of my performance doesn't match what I know I can do. That is so debilitating and frustrating. Now, in master classes or when I get to peek in as a co-teacher, a lot of times I will see other teachers advocate, or they will say, just use more air. And yes, air is so important to what we do as flutists. But the question underneath could be, why isn't the air moving? Why is it trapped, hesitant, or held back? Sure, sometimes there are physical factors. I get it. Asthmatic symptoms, perhaps long COVID symptoms, things like that. But 9 times out of 10, there's also a mental block to consider as well. Someone said something about their sound or their personality, their worth, and from that moment on, the body learned to retreat. Now, when we retreat, what happens physically? We go inward. When we're afraid, we physically collapse inward. Shoulders round forward, the chest possibly caves in, everything tightens as if we're protecting ourselves from harm. And when the body collapses, the breath collapses as well. So when you are spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally ready for this, I want to invite you to unlock those past or present dialogues. Now, the reason why I stress make sure your mind, body, soul is ready for this is because healing can take time. Healing takes energy. And I don't want you to step into something that perhaps will trigger you if you're not ready for it just yet. But if you are, I encourage you to unlock those past dialogues and get curious about them. Curiosity is such a strong tool that we have in our toolbox. Whether you are curious about your health progression, your personal or professional goals, things like that, curiosity is such a strong force. It makes the process lighter, more freer, and with less judgment. So bring these past dialogues, bring them into the light, expose them, work through them so they stop taking up space in your mind and your lungs. Because when you release those toxic narratives out into the open from internal to external worlds, your posture changes, your breath changes, and your sound changes. You literally and symbolically begin to take up healthy space. And when that happens, you find more joy in practicing and sharing your beautiful music, more joy in performing, in teaching. You clear out the mental real estate that was being rented by people whose opinions never deserved to live there in the first place. You reclaim your focus, your intention, and your interpretive voice. How freeing is that? Someone once told me in a recent accelerator program session that grief sits in the lungs. And I remember thinking, well, then maybe that's comforting because as flutists, as we know, we can breathe it out. We can move it. We can transform it into sound. So if you've ever been told, oh, you're too much, or who do you think you are? If you've ever caught yourself over apologizing or perhaps playing small, please just notice it, observe it, and question it, and then let it go. Those words do not belong to you anymore. So, my friend, please heal what needs healing so that when you show up to practice or perform, you do so with presence, courage, and joy. Taking up the space God designed you to inhabit. Now, I hope this little nugget has served you well today. If it resonates, I would absolutely love to hear from you. You can email me privately at heidikbigay@gmail.com or heidi@flute360.com. These are the exact conversations we have in coaching packages, flute lessons, or a community setting like the Accelerator program. If this resonates with you and you are all in and you want to unlock these past dialogues and you need a coach to come alongside you and lovingly support you to your next artistic goals, I'm the coach for you. Okay? Our next live session is scheduled for Saturday, December 20th, 2025 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Now, we meet live once a month. That's it. But there's a lot happening in the background between the 30-day sessions. You can join the Accelerator at any time, but those live sessions are a real treat. All you have to do to grab your seat is click the link in the show notes below, and voila, you're right there at the Flute 360 table along with your new flute friends. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time. Let's talk about flute.